Hello, this is Chris Pickard at Body in Balance in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. And today I'd like to share with you some exercises for chronic fatigue syndrome that you might be surprised at and you've never heard of before. And make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to reveal some extra resources for you for free. And please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the future updates and click the bell or the get notification button as well so you know when they come out, usually every Tuesday or Wednesday morning. So, chronic fatigue syndrome. What are the best exercises for it? You may have already seen that, graded exercise is a good idea to slowly grade yourself up. But is there a way in which you can actually make that so that you don't overdo things? And is there a way to make it faster? Is there a way to actually start changing things in a better way? The answer is yes. First of all, let's take a little step back and let's just have a look at chronic fatigue syndrome very generally. Now, chronic fatigue syndrome is as yet not fully understood. And there's not just one cause, and this is one of the big problems. It's just like fibromyalgia, which very often a lot of people with chronic fatigue syndrome also have fibromyalgia, a lot of pain. It's very complex. There are many causes. Not everyone has a particular disease or a particular problem that they have to be stuck with, because chronic fatigue and chronic fibromyalgia pains have many different causes, some of which are very fixable. Sometimes fairly quickly, sometimes it does take some time. I'm not saying all fibromyalgia and all chronic fatigue have the same causes and are all fixable, but a lot of people can get a lot better than they think is currently possible. So let's look at some causes. Well, chronic fatigue syndrome itself, there are multiple causes. One of them, and so you need different exercises, possibly. Okay, or there is one exercise that helps all. Some chronic fatigue is actually caused by the brain's adaptation to chronic stress. So chronic little bits of stress, the brain literally sort of decides to shut down a lot of its energy processes. And so you have to do lots of little mental exercises to slowly regain your energy. And there's something called the lightening process, which has got people out of wheelchairs and walking again, just by changing your thinking. May sound incredible, but it is true. The sort of patients who come to see me or who consult with me from all over the world for chronic fatigue aren't the ones that can get out of a wheelchair just by thinking the right thoughts. So we know that chronic fatigue syndrome isn't purely in the brain. The next thing, or the big thing, is your mitochondria. You might have heard that term before. Mitochondria are the things inside all of your cells that literally create energy. They're your power stations. And power stations can break down. They can be underfueled. So there can be underfueled mitochondria in your brain. They can be underfueled mitochondria in your heart, in your muscles, in your immune system. And so if they're underfueled, they're not going to work properly. This is why so many people, when they actually improve the nutrition of their body, okay, so an exercise for you could be try and get 8 to 12 portions of fresh fruit, vegetables and berries every day. And you may think, I can't eat that. There won't be enough room for carbohydrates and rubbish and crisps and snacks. So many people, when they actually change to a massively plant-based diet, have less pain and more energy. So my number one exercise for you to try is try eating 8 to 12 portions of fresh fruit, vegetables and berries, and this includes salad as well, every day for a few weeks. And let me know after a few weeks in the comments below what happens. There are so many people, that is it for them. That's all they need. They get a lot better. Okay? But also your cells, your power stations just could be dirty and clogged up. And what they need is a clean, literally a detox from all the chemicals that we're breathing in. This can really have a massive impact on mitochondria. Most of antibiotics, they have a massive effect on shutting down mitochondria. And so you may have actually, your chronic fatigue syndrome may have come on after you had a virus or an infection. which again can shut them down, and then it was the antibiotics that were the final straw. It could also be other chemicals like painkillers, anti-inflammatories. They shut down mitochondria as well and make it worse. Opioids, terrible for your mitochondria. So you need to basically detox and clean all your cells. And so we have patients go through a 7-day intense or even 90-day long day detox procedure, and so many have more energy. Or your mitochondria just could be broken and you need to find new ways to fix them. Or you could have problems, genetic weaknesses, which means you have certain needs for more nutrients, otherwise they get toxic or cleaned up or bunged up more easily. So there's usually some kind of workarounds to make it work a little bit better. So now I've told you about some of the problems. What about exercise? Well, your graded exercise is great. And one of the things you can grade yourself with is something called nitric oxide boosting exercises. I'll put a link to it so you can actually go and watch. It's really simple little exercises to actually release a chemical called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps your brain. It also helps your body deliver nutrients to where it's needed as well. And nitric oxide is also anti-inflammatory in some ways as well. So I'll put a link to learn everything about nitric oxide. It goes about diet, exercises. It's going to help a lot of people with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So you can get those resources now. Now the other thing is something called intermittent hypoxic training. What does this mean? Now this can be an absolute amazing turnaround over time. Which basically means you only exercise for as long as you can hold your breath for. It's very, very simple. And the more unhealthy and the more unfit you are, the better the results with this training. So literally, hold your breath and walk. Okay, you can start off by just sitting down and just holding your breath for as long as you can, or just holding your breath and just moving your arms a little bit, or lifting some weights while holding your breath sitting down. And then you get your breath back, which may take a few minutes, and you might want to do it again, or you wait till tomorrow. And you can time to see how long you're holding your breath and how long you're exercising for. So you can hold your breath and do press-ups. You can hold your breath and walk. You can hold your breath and do squatting into a chair and getting it out again. You can hold your breath and do some of the nitric oxide boosting exercises. Really doesn't matter. Just holding your breath and literally starving your body temporarily of oxygen forces your cells and your mitochondria to actually over time work better. And if you're only exercising for as long as you can hold your breath for, you're not going to over-exercise either. So just start off with just like 1 round, and then maybe the next day do 2 rounds, and then the next day do 3 rounds, and just see how you feel how you feel. And over time, this will actually upgrade your entire energy system. There are other things as well. Just subscribe and actually just get the nitric oxide boosting stuff, and look out for the links. We have a Facebook group for fibromyalgia, but we have a Facebook group for general health, which is actually better. So look out for those. They'll be in the links, and have a fantastic, fabulous day. Please subscribe and look out for bodyimbalanceuK.com.